We live in a world that is inhabited by billions of people who expect instant gratification. Many people want what they want, and they want it now. However, they are forgetting the value of working hard for many years on end and experiencing the satisfaction of their labor coming to fruition. This short-sighted state of mind is not compatible with Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. The art has two ways of punishing those who are not willing to develop the patience that is required to endure the process. If a technique is rushed and executed with improper timing, you are far more likely to fail. If one becomes impatient and attempts to apply the pressure too quickly, it can unexpectedly work against you and give your opponent an opportunity to escape, or even counter your technique. If someone advances with patience and waits for the right opportunity to apply pressure, they are far more likely to achieve their desired position and end the roll with a well-executed submission. Secondly, if one attempts to master every aspect of the art too quickly, to their surprise, they are more likely to do the opposite. Far too often is it tempting for newer students to learn a wide variety of techniques instead of taking time to develop technical proficiency with a small minority of techniques. The internet has been an incredible resource for jiu-jitsu practitioners, from an endless variety of competition matches to quick technique videos and full, in-depth, long-form instructional courses. There has never been a better time to be practicing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Long gone are the days of relying on VHS tapes and trying to remember every detail you learned at a seminar. Now, while this is undeniably a good thing, the surplus of content has also caused people to have too much to choose from, which can cause them to either become paralyzed by indecision or try too hard to learn everything at the same time. It is much better to be known for a particular style, such as a guard player, a leg locker, or a guard passer, or a wrestler, compared to being a jack of all trades. The mindset of trying to become great at everything quickly turns to one of being overwhelmed and frustrated. Bluntly put, you cannot be great at everything. You will likely be mediocre at most things, but you can take a small minority of techniques and be exceptional at them if you're willing to continuously work on them over a period of many years. Take your time, have patience, learn the fundamentals until they come second nature to you before choosing to move on to anything else. This is the way that success works and can be seen not just in Jiu-Jitsu but in any other walk of life. Maximize your potential in one thing and be okay with the imbalance that it will inevitably create everywhere else. Train with this mentality and don't expect it to start paying off for you for 5 to 10 years from the day that you start. This will not bother you if you plan to train for a whole lifetime. Failure has been made to believe that it is something to be feared and to be avoided. This comes as no surprise, as we are Homo sapiens, but living in the modern world. Our primitive brains are still wired to seek out what is the shortest path to getting what we want and need, and to avoid danger at all costs. We are programmed to be alert for and to seek out danger because it was crucial to our very survival. When we were living as hunter-gatherers, failure had a much higher risk. If you missed a shot with your bow, it was very likely that you may starve to death. Failing to distinguish which mushroom was edible or poisonous could also kill you. Falling asleep at night when it was your turn to watch for saber-toothed tigers while the rest of the tribe slept would not be a very good outcome for anybody. Much is different when you compare primitive times to now, but our caveman brain is still wired to seek out danger even in the safest and most leisurely society mankind has ever known. Therefore, we perceive failure as something to be avoided, even though the modern world is a lot more forgiving in regards to failure. Even if life tips in a horrible direction and you lose everything and potentially become homeless, there are still government programs and other good-willed people in the world that will make sure you don't starve to death. Current society has solved the vast majority of the problems that humanity has been struggling to solve for millennia. We don't have to worry anymore where our next meal will come. Deadly diseases can be eradicated with vaccines. And contrary to what we hear on the news, more and more people are becoming peaceful with other countries in terms of war. All of these conveniences and luxuries give us a new problem to face, however. We struggle to find meaning and purpose in our lives when all of our basic survival needs are met. We are more bored than we have ever been because we have more free time than we have ever had. But the benefit of having more free time is that it gives us more opportunity to explore our creative endeavors and interests. For the first time, you can actually decide as an individual what kind of life you would want to live and have a reasonably good chance at attaining it if you're willing to work hard for it. But working for what you want is dangerous. It calls out the best in you and forces you to make sacrifices. Sacrificing what is good for what is great, potentially. Sacrificing the present for a future that we can visualize but is not necessarily guaranteed. And there's risk in this. For if you fail to meet your goals, or more specifically if you quit, you lose the present and the future. This is what I believe makes people afraid to truly go after what they want in life. It isn't necessarily the fear of losing out on money or feeling like a failure, but it's the time that they know that is forever lost, that they'll never get back. But while you may not be able to get your time back, your time is not wasted. Your time has been invested, learning a particular skill set and building experiences. Learned experience is the only thing that permits us to move forward with our craft. Learned experience frequently comes disguised as a temporary setback, which requires a very special type of person to focus on the newly attained knowledge that comes from that experience, compared to dreading over the sheer reality of the disappointment that coexists with failure, which therefore makes experience, disguised as temporary failure, what should be pursued instead of retreated from. Willingly step forward in the face of a difficult challenge. Command the best version of yourself to answer the call. Move forward courageously, in opposition to the task that will push you to evolve. Continuously pursue and embrace failure, and you will attain the inevitable experiences that are essential for success. In any job, field, sport, or apprenticeship, you will encounter people who are ruled by their obsession to improve. Most people genuinely want to do better for themselves and have a fundamental motivation to rise and outperform those around them. We are all wired to compete for resources, recognition, and status. In every past generation, it was, and still is, of immense value to stand out above the rest, to appear strong, powerful, and competent. We are still programmed to conduct ourselves in this way. Our primitive instincts are very apparent even in the modern world, as I alluded to in previous points. These instincts serve as our primary motivation for why we work hard to get ahead financially, and why we desire to have the biggest house, and why we all want an attractive body. It is not primarily for vanity's sake. It is our primitive brain operating in the background, influencing every decision that we make, actively pushing us forward, calling out the best of us to appear worthy of mating with so that our genes could propagate to the next generation. Most people are not aware of the true operating system in the background that is pulling our strings and making our decisions. Modern society has done an excellent job convincing us that what is valued and what is worth pursuing is materialism. Materialism is now falsely measured to be equal with power. Therefore, whoever has the best things is therefore the most powerful and most desirable. This is flawed because access to material abundance is not synonymous with positive character traits. Your character traits will shine through in everything that you do, from the way that you write your name to the way that you drive your car, or the way you shake somebody's hands and carry yourself in the world. People who hold a high sense of self-entitlement will care much less about other people. People with a strong ego will justify putting others down, especially if it can serve as a short-term personal gain for themselves. People like this are self-interested instead of doing what would be best for the majority. Humility, on the other hand, speaks a different language. Humility is the willingness to put others' interests before yours and assist them in the pursuit of their goals. Humility possesses no need to announce itself or attempt to convince others of its existence. Humility is often mistaken for weakness by people who lack it, although humility is the clearest sign of strength. True strength and confidence is quiet and does not need to announce itself. When confidence is real, it is not spoken, but it is felt by everybody. A humble leader uses their position and their power to lift up the people around them with encouragement, instead of bringing themselves up by pushing others down. An effective measurement of one's power is not what they say of what they are capable of, but of what positive characteristics other people bring to light about them. People will forget the things that you said, and people will forget the things that you did, but people will never forget the way that you made them feel. Inspire the ones around you to do great things by truly being great yourself, providing a great example and helping them do the same, not by telling them how great you are, but showing them exactly how to do it themselves. Thank you everybody for watching my video. If you're able to get some value out of it, please consider subscribing, liking the video, and sharing it with other people who you believe would get some value out of it as well. It helps my channel grow and gives me more incentive to keep making these videos and providing more value for you guys. So if you liked it, please share it with other people, and yeah, look forward to more videos. Thank you.